Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the #1 community college in the nation. Is that not, it's something we should all celebrate, that it's here in Florida, it's Valencia. The Aspen Prize is just wonderful for them. But Joyce, as you introduced me as Seminole State University, I have to tell you, I was looking at the list, and I was looking at the names of the community colleges, now state colleges, now colleges, and I thought, every one of us have changed our names over the last few years, and Brevard is the most recent one, and they're going to be known as Eastern Florida State College going forward. And I think it's indicative of the kind of change that's happening in Florida in higher education, and certainly I think we are leading the nation with what we're doing with both Direct Connect, with our bachelor's degrees, with the amazing partnership that we have. And I just want to say a shout out to David Mueller. David is the mayor of Lake Mary, which is where Seminole State College has our mothership, but he is also the coordinator for the regional campuses, so just a great partnership for us. I want to give a few words of welcome this morning, but also tell you a personal story as well, because I was trying to think this weekend what would really resonate with advisors and counselors who are dealing with students whose lives have gotten so much more complicated, I think, than when we were students. So first of all, I love coming to this. I consider this as kind of an annual checkup on how we're doing with Direct Connect. And Direct Connect, I think you all will agree, has been an amazing program for our region, for our students. The other night at the Economic Development Commission dinner, I told about 500 of our key business leaders in the multi-county region that Direct Connect was the brainchild of Dr. John Hitt, and it was. But I also told them that it required 5 college presidents to put aside our egos, to put aside our territorial nature, and to do what was right for our students. And we did. And I think now, some 8 years later, you're seeing amazing results, both for our students and for the economy in our region. So I first of all want to thank you for being here today. And I want to thank you for what you do for our students and with our students, because you are critical as we talk about how to get students through college, get them degrees, get them jobs. I want to just kind of, true confessions, I was a dean of students in a previous life. And it was an amazing experience for me. So I know firsthand what you do, and I know how hard it is, and I know it's gotten more and more complicated from the time that I was a dean of students. But I also want to tell you that I was a student at a community college. I was at St. Petersburg Junior College many years ago. And I was one of those kids that had last day, last hour registration. All right, do you get that picture? It's not pretty. And it was back when we used to pull class cards. How many of you remember the old class cards? Okay, thank you. I was hoping a few people in the audience would remember those days. And so I went in, a brand new college student. I was actually 16 years of age at the time because I'd graduated from high school early. And I had no one at home. My parents hadn't gone to college, so no one at home who knew what I was going through. It was my first experience. And after several failed attempts of trying to make a class schedule and pull those class cards, remember the stations we used to have to go to, I was just finally reduced to tears in the corner of the room. And I remember sitting there and sobbing what I thought was hysterically. And a counselor came over and said, "May I help you?" And I remember I just, kind of held up my cards, and he took them and made a class schedule for me. And I will always remember, you remember people who are in defining moments of your life. Dave Walthall. I will always remember him. Now, I wound up with 7 Monday classes, okay? So I didn't exactly have the ideal schedule my first term, but so grateful to him for what he did for me. I would say to you, the lives of our students have gotten all the more complicated from the time that I was a student many years ago. Financial aid, advisement, transfer requirements, and it's why Direct Connect is so important. You think about a student coming in, declaring that they have a major, and we know that's very important for them to do if not before they get to us in the first term. And then having at 30 hours a UCF advisor to help hold their hand to get them through as quickly as possible. So you all are key to what is happening in this region and actually in the nation. And I wanted to point out 2 publications to you. I'm working with the American Association of Community Colleges, and many of you know we have a national initiative to try and get more students to graduate. It's called Reclaiming the American Dream, and you can get it from AACC, and I recommend it to you. If you haven't read it, please do. It's the result of a year-long study that a lot of people did, backed by the Gates Foundation, to really look at what's wrong with higher education, particularly at the community college level, and how do we change that? How do we make it better for our students? From this report, there is now a new national initiative, a 2-year one, called Reclaiming the American Dream, and I am one of the 5 national co-chairs for that. And what we're learning are things like if a student doesn't declare a major before they get to us or in that first term, we are very likely to lose them. We are very likely to not see them graduate. I love the statement that Kay McClenny, who's with the Community College Engagement Group at the University of Texas. Kay says, our students don't do optional. Now think about that for a minute. Our students don't do optional. Many of them don't go to orientation. And have you sat through your orientation lately at your institution? We throw so much at those students that even if they do go, how much do they remember? And do they have the knowledge to apply what they're hearing? And 90% of them will say that seeing an advisor, having a plan is important to their success, but less than 1/3 of them will do that. So we've got some challenges in front of us. And I know this afternoon you all are going to talk about pathways for students, and that is very critical. That happens to be the group that I'm co-chairing at the national level, is creating new pathways for students. So the other publication I'm going to recommend to you is one by Terry O'Banion. And for those of you who go way back in Florida, you'll know Terry was the Dean of Students at Santa Fe Community College many years ago and then went on to head the League for Innovation. This is called Access, Success, and Completion, a primer for community college faculty, administrators, staff, and trustees. It's the best piece I've read in a long time about what we need to be doing with students, but it's going to take a lot of courage and money, of course, to do the kinds of things that Terry is recommending. And the third thing I'm going to recommend to you is in the April issue of the Journal for the American Association of Community Colleges, Kay McClenny, who is at the Student Engagement, heads the Student Engagement Institute, is going to have an article that's coming out. She sent me an advance copy from my committee called Premise and Promise, and it's about pathways. And it's got some of the latest research that she's gotten over the last 3 years of working with some of the Achieving the Dream schools. And she's going to be writing a series of articles about what she's found out. So I think what I'm saying to you is even as we've changed our names and we've changed our mission, expanded our mission, there's more change coming in terms of how we offer instruction, how we help students to get through. And I would say to you that what you do every day is critical, not only for those students, but it's critical for our communities as well. So thanks for being here today, and thanks for what you do on behalf of our students, because they are all our students. So thank you.